Hi guys, it's Rachel down here at the Neighborhood Center. And this week's Morning Moments, I wanted to take some time to talk a little bit about the stimulus. For the majority of us, we will be receiving stimulus checks or have received stimulus checks. And I know it's not the first time that I've gone over this through our social media, but I just wanted to revisit it because I really am passionate about it and think it's an important thing that we need to talk about. So this stimulus, I really feel like we need to hone in on planning for the future. So a lot of things have changed with COVID, and there's been a lot of extra money coming people's ways in the form of increase in food stamps, increase in unemployment, all kinds of things like that. There's free food baskets being given out all over the place, and then these stimulus checks. And although they are great and they help in the moment, I think that the key point that I really think we need to meditate on is that this is not a forever thing. This is meant to help us be secure in our financial situations if we aren't otherwise. So if we're struggling to pay bills because we've had hours cut or lost jobs because of COVID, that we're using this money smartly, that we are taking a look, we're pausing before we spend, and we're taking the time to take a look at our financial situation, that we are... I have a calendar here that I like to use. I made this one, but I like to use calendars to look at my monthly plan for my bills. So I write down the days when my husband and I get paid, and then I also write down the days when all of our bills are due and how much is due. This one I kind of put in an area at the bottom where you can make a list of all of them first and then plug them into the dates. I did not put a month, so then that way you can use it every month. You can copy and use it each month for the next new month. I think we need to have our situation on paper. We need to see it. I think that visualizing what's an accurate picture of our financial situation is what is first going to help us. I think that with that, you can plan ahead. You can use the stimulus and say, okay, I got this much money and this much is what I pay out in bills every month. So I can pay this many months worth of my bills. It gives you that security to where if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you have that net. And you have the ability to breathe. And I think that oftentimes we live in crisis mode where we're so used to living in paycheck to paycheck scenario that when this kind of stuff comes, it's like, oh, I have extra, so I can just go and do whatever I want. I want this, I always wanted this, I always wanted that. And I do fully believe in doing a little bit of fun with it as well, because it's been a really hard year. But I think the big objective really needs to focus on your financial security and that you are setting your future up for success. And even setting some of that money back for emergency cases. You know what your monthly bills are, and it's not feasible for everyone to have months worth of bills set aside, but even having a little bit keeps us from constantly living in crisis mode. So even if it's just enough to pay 1 month's rent, if that's all that you can do, or a couple months of utility bills, that you're setting that back to have that security net and you're thinking about your future. So I have packets that I have made up that we have here that we're handing out in our food baskets, and we have them available for anybody who, if you just want to stop by. Just some of my do's, don'ts, and helpful hints for stimulus, which the main focus being on setting goals, writing them down, planning ahead, and sticking to your plan, and then to leave a little room for fun. I think some of the don'ts, that the things we need to avoid, is to ignore your current situation and just use this money as a free-for-all, and say, well, I'll deal with that later, when you have the ability to deal with that now. Blowing it all, I think that isn't advisable either, because that's not why that money's been given to us. And then just spending without a plan and making impulse purchases. It's so hard, and I struggle with that. I've struggled with that. It's something that I've worked on. It's something my husband has helped me to work on, is not being an impulse buyer, because then we have regrets. And so what I've had to do is think, okay, I really want this. Oh, I've got the money. I'm going to go buy it right now. Giving yourself 24 hours to stop and think, do I really need this? If I had to choose in buying this TV right now, or if I had a foreshadowing of next month and I'm going to lose my job and I could be at risk of not being able to pay my rent, you have to think about it that way, because we don't know what the future holds. So I myself would rather have that net than have the TV. Not that you can't buy a TV if you need one, but it's just, if you take a look at your situation and that we are being responsible and making choices to help our families be secure. Because another thing that I have seen from experience, and I have myself experienced, that when you are not secure in your finances, every other area of your life suffers. You're stressed, your relationship suffers, you can be not as patient with your kids if you're worried about how you're going to pay next month's rent, or your car broke down and you can't fix it. These are the things that this money is giving us the ability to plan ahead and give us that security for our futures. I also offer budget counseling here. And so whether it be stimulus or just your budget period, I love budgeting. I love numbers. And if you want to come in and meet with me, you're more than welcome to call here. Our number is 936-3388. You can ask for me. I can do it over the phone. I'm willing to sit outside and pull a chair out there if you don't want to come in the building. We are allowing some people in the building for clothing and one of our food pantries. So whatever's comfortable for you. If you want help in writing down your picture of what your family and your situation looks like, I'm here. And I would love to help you. I would love to help you look at your future and try to make that a little more secure. In a lot of areas, we can look at finances, we can look at other things, but this is just something that really weighs on me. And I think that the other thing that we need to seriously think about, it's not even a consideration, we need to acknowledge this is not going to last forever. And yeah, sure, right now, this is great. We're getting all this money thrown at us, but this is not going to be forever. So what happens when it stops? The government can't afford to give us money for the rest of our lives, nor should they. So we need to plan for that future. We need to think about when the unemployment stops. We need to think about when the food stamps go back to what they were. We need to think about when this extra is taken from us and we are once again fully supporting ourselves. Because this can't go on, and it won't go on forever. So that's something else. I know there's a lot of places hiring right now, and I understand that in some situations with unemployment, you're making more sitting at home than you would if you went and got a job. But we have to think about the future and when that money stops, because everyone's money is going to stop at the same time. So if you think about it now and you're planning ahead and you get that job now, you don't have to worry about competing with all of these other people for those positions when the extra money stops coming. So once again, my encouragement of this morning moment is that we pause and we plan and we think about the future. And if you need help, that I am here for you. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for being my neighbor.